I have three main ingredients that make you successful. That's in anything. And number one is I call PMA. This is a positive mental attitude. Number two is drive. And number three is personal. The personal side is when you introduce yourself to somebody, don't ever, when you come to shake somebody's hand, don't ask them how you're doing. Always shake their hand and say, glad to meet you. Because if you ask them how they're doing, they're going to exactly tell you how you're doing. And you want to maintain that positive mental attitude during that time. They start to wonder, well, glad to meet you. Who is this guy? And so you kind of go into the motions and introduce yourself. You get personal with them also. Like for instance, if I like your pair of shoes, I say, where do you get those shoes at? They were so nice. And people always like to be complimented on. Anytime when they're personal, when you go into the house, you see something that you like, you just, you say, hey, where did you get that from? That is so beautiful or so pretty. Like in Eastern Kentucky, we have a lot of gardens. And I'm big on gardens, and I'd say, wow, you got a nice garden. I bet you spend a lot of time in there, and they'd start bragging about their garden. And you get personal. I do things totally different from other people. Like when I introduce myself, okay, and I tell them I'm with Security National, and I have products that I can offer you, and I give you a good example. Like for instance, I ask you what your age is, and they say, well, 35. Well, I said, well, you can get this amount of insurance, okay, for this price, and plus they'll give you the first 10 years you get accidental death if you qualify. And I said, do you need any, or do you know anybody that needs any? So I go ahead and pretty much give them a quote right off the bat, without them even asking, because I got them interested. And anytime you get the individual shaking their head like this, they're gonna shake their head. They want, they need some insurance, or they know somebody that does. The best advice I ever got is put in the time, and this came from my former manager, is put in the time and it will always pay off. Even when you don't see the sunshine, it will pay off later, and it always does. The biggest mistakes new agents make is, number one is not bringing the policies back to the clients. And number two is PMA. I call positive mental attitude, because this business will wear on your mind when they say no. If you can maintain that positive mental attitude, you'll be like Peter that got out of the boat. He walked on water, So that's positive mental attitude. Don't get depressed, and deliver your policies. And if you do it right, and if you mean it sincerely, if you have the drive, you have the positive mental attitude, and you get personal with people, you will succeed. Because after all, you got to remember 40% of the people only have insurance. That's 60% that does not. There's somebody that wants insurance.